Hi, good morning. Namaste to all of my fellow Indian Americans watching today's broadcast across the globe and in the United States. My name is David Zere, and I am the host of Breaking Point on America's Voice News. Indian Americans share Trump's vision to let the rugged individualism that made this country prosper and built this country. And Trump wants to encourage all Americans to be the risk takers and create better lives for their families, and to be guided by the invisible hand of government, free from excessive regulation and red tape. I believe that Indian Americans pride themselves on family, and that you are incredible contributors to American society and the economy. And you want to make sure, and you do make sure, that your children get great educations in science, technology, engineering, math, medicine, and to carry on your family businesses from generation to generation, which is a common goal, with average everyday Americans. I want to give you a brief background on why we got to get Trump back in office. I have a background in New York commercial and residential construction and real estate for over 32 years, in addition to being in the media. And I've witnessed at least 5 economic cycles of recession and growth. This country has always prospered when pro-business administrations have taken the helm. Ronald Reagan brought us out of the dismal 1970s, and he had extensive growth. And then there was the recession from 87 to 95, caused by the peace dividend, when the Berlin Wall came down, and we went from 20 military divisions in the Army to 12, and our aviation industry was decimated. And then we had a 1987 stock market crash and a housing and loan scandal and crisis that decimated our economy. And then in the 1994, 104th Congress came into power. Newt Gingrich took the gavel of Congress, and he gave us the largest tax cuts in history up until that point. And the economy took off like a rocket ship, and Americans prospered once again. And then we had 9/11, we had another recession, and then we came out of that, 04, 05, 06, we were really strong. And then we had the 08 global crisis, with the loans, and everybody got crushed. So even though Obama inherited a tough situation, he never really had any pro-growth economic policies, and his GDP was anemic and stuck at 1-2%. And the Democrat administration told us for 8 years that this was going to be the new normal, and we were never going to get better than that. And the Feds never raised rates on Obama for 7.25 years of his presidency, and he still couldn't spur that much business and manufacturing. And then we gave $1 trillion to infrastructure that really never made it down to the level to rebuild our bridges and roads. The states just took it to plug their deficits. So, these were some of the worst years in business for me and my family. And as soon as Donald Trump got elected, investors came off the sidelines and the economy boomed. Trump accomplished this with the largest tax cuts in history and lowered our corporate tax rates down to 21%. He also brought back 10,000 manufacturers and distribution companies who have come back to the United States during his presidency. And he accomplished all of this, even with the Feds and Democrats working against him. And we would have reached 4% growth under Trump, but the Feds raised rates. I think it was in December 2018. They raised rates on him, and they put a damper on the GDP, which still hit 3%. At the turn of the 20th century, and achieved the American dream with no assistance from the government. And generations of Indian Americans have come to the United States, and it must be upsetting for them to watch illegal immigrants come into this country jumping the line, while your families wait for many, many years to integrate and emigrate to the United States while you build up your businesses. And having been to the communist Soviet Union in 1986 and witnessing empty food shelves in the markets, I have always had a deep appreciation for capitalism and only support candidates with pro-business policies. So where are the voices for small business owners in the Democratic Party? And even though the COVID has strained our economy and the Democrats want to keep us in perpetual lockdown, it's so important that Indian Americans now get involved right now. We have 100 days left, and make sure there is a victory for Donald Trump in the battleground states. And I'm not saying this as a political message. I'm saying this because the lives of our families depend on it. 1/3 of small businesses only have 1 month before they start running out of money, even with the PPP money and the disaster relief. And the Democratic presidency and Congress will destroy the hopes and dreams of millions of Americans who are the producers in society, like the Indian American community, who take all the risk, get up every day. Biden has already announced that he will initiate a corporate tax increase from 21 to 28%. You never hear the Democrats praising the guy who wakes up every day and expects nothing in return and gives himself selflessly and works their fingers to the bone every day for generations so their families can grow, flourish, and prosper. We're tired of being told that we are bad for working hard, and there is no substitute for hard work and keeping your families together. So I want to welcome the Indian American community to America's Voice News and our family, because we are champions for free markets and having a strong moral fiber and a backbone for this country. And I'm sure that the Indian American community embraces this. And we have to get your voters over to Trump's side, because this country is in for disaster if we do not. So I look forward to working with you, and I look forward to a brighter future with all of you. And I want to thank you so much for your time.